Most AI films don't fail because the prompt was wrong or the tech broke. They stall out. They drift. You get 90% of the way there, and then a shiny new concept catches your eye, and the project gets left behind. Because the tools offer zero friction for starting, continuing a difficult cut feels entirely optional. Ideas are cheap. Generating assets is nearly instantaneous, and you're surrounded by endless alternatives. In traditional filmmaking, renting gear and paying a crew costs thousands of dollars a day. Those physical constraints punish indecision. They force you to lock a picture. AI completely removes those financial and physical guardrails. To cross the finish line, you have to build your own walls. You have to invent your own rules. That brings us to a harsh but necessary reality. A finished film is a closed decision. Deciding when to stop tweaking and call a project complete is the truest form of authorship you have. We do this using what I call a scope lock. This is a rigid, non-negotiable set of rules established before you even open your generation tools. Step 1 is locking your runtime. Pick a duration before you start and make it shorter than what feels comfortable. 30 seconds, maybe 60. Longer runtimes exponentially increase your chances of hitting a wall. Chop it off early to reduce failure points. Step 2 is the shot count lock. For a minute-long video, force yourself to use exactly 12 shots, no more. When you find yourself thinking, I'll just add one more shot to explain this better, stop. That is usually an avoidance tactic masking a structural problem. Operating with artificial scarcity forces you to plan your coverage properly. It directs your prompting. It makes your editing decisive because you have no space to waste. By severely limiting your time and space, you corner yourself. You must solve the narrative puzzle on the timeline instead of generating your way around it. The sheer speed of generation models is a trap. Hitting generate 100 times an hour leads to endless, microscopic tweaking. Step 3 is the revision lock. Decide in advance exactly how many passes you get. 1 pass for generation, 1 pass for compositing, 1 pass for polish. Once that third pass is done, you stop. You export the file. You don't export because every frame is flawless. You export because you met criteria for completion. Step 4 requires knowing what done actually looks like. Projects sit on hard drives for months because creators never sketch out a clear finish line. This checklist shows what completion actually requires. The green column is functional. The sequence plays cleanly, the audio makes sense, the style holds together. The red column is aspirational poison, waiting for perfect output or trying to match the exact image you saw in your head. The perfect film you imagined does not exist. The functional file on your timeline is real, and it's all your audience will ever see. Midway through a cut, a new model will drop. It will promise better temporal consistency or higher resolution, and you will feel an overwhelming urge to pause your current work to test it out. Step 5 is the no new tools rule. The moment you start generating assets for a locked project, your software stack is entirely frozen. Learning a new interface tricks your brain into thinking you are working on your film, but it is actually a highly sophisticated way of procrastinating. If your current tools cannot bridge a gap in your story, the problem is almost certainly structural. You need to adjust your script or your edit, not wait for a software update. The AI landscape updates every single week. True discipline is closing the project with the exact same tools you opened it with. This chart shows a pattern every creator faces. Late in an edit, your initial excitement burns out. The flaws become obvious, and enthusiasm drops into a deep valley. I call this the emotional dip. Dabblers hit this valley, assume the film is terrible, and abandon it to start something new. Finishers recognize this dip as clear evidence that they are extremely close to the end. They push upward. When you hit that wall, ask yourself one question. Will I learn more by pushing this imperfect project out the door, or by scrapping it for a blank canvas? The answer is always pushing it out the door. You only truly evaluate a piece of work after you release it and look at it as an objective viewer. So take that unfinished project sitting on your drive right now, apply a hard runtime, a strict shot count, and limit your passes. Then go down to the comments below and type shipping, followed by a hard date. Give yourself a public deadline. Shipping is a muscle. Every time you cross the finish line, your judgment sharpens. Completed videos build authority. Half-finished ideas build nothing.